Although man abused his freedom to make right choices and sinned against God, he had no power or authority to determine the resultant consequences of his action. Hapo ndio shida iko. We have volition. You can choose. You have the freedom. Choose what you want to do. But the thing will not do, you will not choose the consequences. You will not choose the consequences. Because the consequences are set in the will of God. So, human free will is relative to and does not override the sovereignty of God. It's relative to the sovereignty of God. It does not override. Just because you have a freedom to choose, it does not mean that the sovereignty of God is no longer in action. Does not mean so. Just because you have the freedom to choose, does not mean that the sovereignty of God has become inoperative. The sovereignty of God is still operative, and your choices have consequences. God is the only supreme ruler of the universe, and he determines the ultimate ramification of every choice that man makes. He determines. And God does not hide from you. Look at the Deuteronomy 30:15. God does not hide it from you. See, I have set before you today life and good, death and evil. We want to be God's advocates and say, oh, we know God cannot say he has said evil. He said it. Verse 19, I call heaven and earth as a witness today against you that I have set before you life and death, blessings and cursings. Therefore choose life that both you and your descendants may live. God is telling you, if you choose the alternative, there are consequences. If you choose the alternative, there are consequences. And you cannot choose the alternative, start suffering the consequences, then start complaining, then where is the love of God? So here, consequently, God holds man individually responsible and accountable for all that he does. God Father rewards man for all his good deeds. We may not have answers to all the Bible questions. The Bible says we'll know him when we see him as he is. When we go there, that's when we'll know everything in full. So I cannot stand here and pretend that I have all answers. But there's something that I know. Something that I know. God has given this world to me and you, the sons of men. And God will not interfere with our freedom of choice. Again, he will not interfere with the consequences as a result of the choices we make. God will not.